with you.
You're back. Hey, another day, another dollar. Hey, some cases, hey, another 50 cents. Hey, today we're doing Swedish meatballs, okay? It's one of my favorites. I mean, I got a lot of favorites, you already know that, but hey, what can I say? I like a lot of food, okay? I'm doing this, I'm making this, for Mama Straw. If you watch my videos, you may have seen her from time to time. She does have a Swedish background, so well, Swedish ancestry, if you want to get technical about it. But anyway, it's here or there. But anyway, I'm making this. Now, traditionally, you make this with mashed potatoes, okay? But because of my Asian background, as far as cuisine, the family has gotten accustomed to egg noodles and the such. So we're replacing the mashed potatoes with egg noodles in this iteration of it. Okay, hope you enjoy it. Try it for yourself. Look at this. I don't know how good you can see this, but this is nice. Check it out. Hey, this is Shrashira. That's the best elevator music I ever heard. So for our first stage, we have about a quarter of an onion here, roughly a quarter, maybe close to a third of an onion. And in this water, I have half of a medium potato, okay? In this water, there's also lemon juice to prevent it from turning brown, okay? So now let's get these diced up. So this onion, we want to get some nice, small cuts in it, nice small dices. So let's get this cut up real quick. That guy fell off the side. Just through, nice and small. See? It's gonna be delicious. This is plenty enough. Take this guy here. Gonna cut him up because he wants to be outcast. Just cut this up a little bit. And I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do with these. But for now, we're gonna just put these in this ramekin. Gotta get all the prep work done here. Prep these vegetables. Alright, now let's move to the potatoes. Okay, get these chopped up. And you want to chop them up small, right? And the reason I'm chopping them up small because I want them to cook fast. Okay, if you chop them up all big, they're not going to cook fast. Now just put them right back in the water. Alright, get the next one out. And if I had to put a size on this, I would say you're looking at about 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch cubes if you can. Right? See that? Put them right in there because what we're going to do, we're going to boil these guys. Right? To soften them up. Speaking of which, let's get to that now. We have a pot here. We don't need a big pot because we don't have that much potatoes that we're cooking. We're going to turn the fire on. Medium to medium high. I'm going to season it. Some salt in it. I'm using kosher salt. A couple teaspoons. And now we're going to add our potatoes. Now, when you're boiling potatoes, you want to put the potatoes in cold water, okay, to start, right? Because they're tubers, right? So they're grown underground. So you want them to come up to temperature with the water, okay? That's the secret. You don't want to add potatoes to, roll and boil. You don't want to do that, Okay? So cold water, seasoned cold water, let it come up to temp, and we're going to boil this till it gets tender. Now, it's probably going to take about 10 minutes, maybe even 12 minutes, even for this little batch. But it doesn't matter because we're going to end up mashing it. Alright? Let's see if these are tender enough here. Let me turn the heat off. Stop the percolating. Let me just give a little, oh yeah, they're nice and soft now. It's been the 12 minutes. Let's get these strained, and we're going to mash these up. Okay, give me a sec here. I have my strainer here. I'm going to go strain these, and I'll be right back, and we're going to start on the onions. So these are strained here now. We're going to let them drain a bit, and then we're going to mash them. So let's get to the onions. Now for our onions, have our pan heated up, put a little bit of olive oil in here. Okay, I'm going to use a spatula. Forget the spoon or the whisk. Let this heat up. And then we're going to add our onions to it. We're going to saute them. All right, let's add our onions. That's right. Here's the sizzle. Let's stir these up. And now we're going to saute these until they're translucent. Now, when I say translucent, what I'm meaning is transparent, and furthermore, till they're clear, almost see-through. See how hard white they are now? And you don't want the heat to be up too high, because you don't want to burn them, you just want to sweat them, you see? So let's let this go for a couple minutes and we'll be back. So we're sauteing these, right? We're just trying to soften them up a bit, you see? Got me some libations here, look at that. Blue can cameo. Let's get back to this. All right, and this is all we need right here. See? Turn the heat off. Now we're just going to spread this around because I need this to cool down. Okay? So now let's get to mashed those potatoes. Get these potatoes in here. Okay? Now we're going to take our fork here and just mash them up. Right? We only have a little bit of potatoes, so you don't need a potato masher. Now, just like the onions, these have to cool down. And when these cool down, we can continue to the next part. So there may have been like an audio issue before. So all I did was I put the mashed potatoes in here, and I just used my fork to just mash them up, okay? Just like the onions, prior to this, I just sauteed them, right, until they were translucent, okay, or sweating or see-through, as it were. So they're cooling down now. And now these are going to cool down. And once these get cooled down, we can get to the next part. Now for the meatballs, we have our potatoes that's been mashed, right? We have our sauteed onions. We have roughly about a quarter cup of breadcrumbs. We have 2 eggs, okay? Now about 3 ounces of heavy whipping cream, teaspoon of pepper, teaspoon of salt, and 1 pound of ground beef. So now let's get this all mixed up. Have our fork here. First thing we want to do, add our salt. Get the salt in there. Pepper in here. Okay. We're going to add our onions. Right, get the onions in. Our sauteed onions, get those in. Okay. We're going to add our heavy whipping cream. Get all that in there. It's going to give it a nice rich flavor, you see. That's why you want that. See a little bit of onion here. Give me that. I want that too. Now we got our breadcrumbs in. Our eggs. Our 2 eggs, put those in. And you notice about the eggs, I cracked them and put them in the ramekin prior to showing you the setup. The reason I do that is because on a rare occasion, you may crack an egg. There are people crack eggs directly into their ingredients. But what do you do if you get a raw egg, right? Or even eggshells. So that's going to prevent that from happening. Or you can catch it if it does happen without ruining your whole dish. Okay, so get this all mixed in good. Looks nice. Now we're going to add our ground beef. So break it up, get it in there. Yep, use your hands. And good thing I'm wearing gloves because you cannot avoid using your hands for this. So I'll start off nice and simple with the fork, but then I'm going to get in there with my hands, right? It's all nice and mixed in. Now we want to use our hands to really mix it in like you're kneading dough, you see? Take the bottom and put it on the top and smash it down. It's real simple, okay? Now, if you don't have gloves or you're not using gloves, just slightly wet your hands a bit, right? It'll stop the ground beef from sticking to you. Okay, now let's trade our gloves, get some fresh gloves, and we'll get these balls up. So now I have my baking sheet. Well, technically it's a baking sheet. It's really kind of like a Pyrex, a roasting pan, but it'll work. So you want to take some of your mixture and make a little ball out of it, right? Like you're making a meatball out of it, right? Look at that. See, just a little meatball, by an inch and a half or so, and you, boom, put it right in the pan. Do another one. Okay? And again, this is where wearing gloves pays off. They all won't be the same size. You're going to have some big ones, you're going to have some little ones, so don't worry about it. Okay. Okay, move these over here. The general rule of thumb is you want them to be about the same size so they cook evenly. But in this application, it really doesn't matter. Because once these set, we're going to saute them in a frying pan. And that way you can look and you can see what's done and what's not done. It's not a time restraint. So let me do the rest of these and we'll be back. There's going to be a lot of them. Now, can you use an ice cream scooper or a melon baller for this? Absolutely. You can. Do I? I don't. But it's absolutely an option for you. I'm going to put some plastic wrap on these guys here. And these are going to go into the refrigerator for a half hour. Okay? That nice and wrapped. Love this, by the way. But anyway, I'm nice and wrapped into the fridge for 30 minutes, and then we'll cook them up. So now we have our noodles here. And these are extra white noodles. Okay. It's a big, favorite in the family. So I'm going to cook them up. Okay. Nice. I like them. Family likes them. And what we're going to do, we're going to boil these for about 8 to 9 minutes. Okay. So our water is starting to boil. We're not going to add the pasta until the water is boiling. Okay. So remember that. Don't add the pasta until it's boiling. And the water is seasoned with salt. Because again, where I'm at, I can't speak for where you're at, but where I'm from, or where I'm living right now, when we put water in the pot, it's not seasoned. So you gotta season it yourself. So I season it. Alright, let's add these noodles, baby. Add them all. That's right. Stir these bad boys up. Eight and a half, 9 minutes. It needs to be taken care of. See what we're working with. Stir this bad boy up. Making sure nothing's sticking to the bottom. Look at that. I'm gonna taste this one. I'm gonna try this one out. Let me see. See if we're getting close to ready. Nope. Couple more minutes. Let's shake these now. They should be done. Should just need to be strained so we can work on these meatballs. So we check this out. You don't want them to be mushy. You want them to be kind of al dente. Yep. Turn it off. Let me strain these. And when I strain them, I'm going to add some butter to them. A couple tablespoons of butter. And then we're going to work on the meatballs. What I've done is I've added some olive oil to this non-stick pan, which is not necessary, but I like to do it. Okay. Now we have our meatballs that have been in the fridge, and we're going to put them into the pan. Now you have to be mindful, because when you add that many in like this, it's going to cool your pan down some. So you might want to turn your heat up just a little bit at first as you start browning it. Okay? So let's start getting this browning. Probably about 2 to 3 minutes per side. Let's start turning these bad boys. Yeah. Yep, give this about 2 minutes, and then we'll be turning them again. I've turned the temperature down to medium, so I can turn these a little more. Right, to try to get the parts that haven't cooked properly. You know? Now what I'm going to do is add 2 tablespoons of butter. And that's going to give it some additional flavor. And what you want to do, you want to look for any spots that are not cooked. So roll them around. You want to make sure those spots get cooked properly. especially on the bigger pieces, you know. You know, balance them up against the sides if you have to. Because here in about a minute and a half, we're going to take these out, right? And we're going to start working on our sauce, all right? Let's get these guys out of here. You know, the beauty about this is that because it's ground beef, and if you've cooked it 2 minutes per side, you don't have to worry about undercooking it or even overcooking it. So we're going to take it out of the pan. We're going to let it rest while we're working on the sauce. Okay, so let's get these all out of here. I'm using a fork because I don't want to break them all up. I mean, I could use tongs and get them out of here real quick, but I'm not going anywhere. So now we're going to work on the sauce. So now I turn the heat back on. I'm not going to wipe the pan out or nothing like that. I want that fond. I want that flavor. But what I am going to do is add some cream to this. I'm going to add 1.75 cups of cream. Yep. I want all that sauce. I love this sauce. I love cooked cream. I just love it. I don't know. And what's going to happen is this heats up, it's going to thicken up. Okay? You know, some people, they add flour to this, cornstarch. I don't. If you want, you can do additional seasonings like salt and pepper. Generally, I don't do it because the peanut gallery, they're so picky. One person's salt might mess up another person's plate. So what I do is I let them season it themselves once they have it plated up. So let me get this up to a simmer so we can see what we're working with. And you want to be careful. You do not want to scald the heavy cream, okay? Nobody wants burnt cream. So I'll be back here in about a minute. You can see it starting to boil. This mixed up. And as it boils, or simmers as it were, it's going to thicken up. I don't want it too thick. I like this particular sauce to be a little runny, you know, so it covers the pasta properly. We are done. This is done, so let's plate up, see what we're working with. Start off by putting some pasta in here. Very nice. Nicely done. The peanut gallery, they love their egg pasta, their egg noodles, so do that. Now let's get to the actual meatballs. Strategically place the meatballs. There we go. Now let's get some sauce on that bad boy. You know, some sauce on it. Now we're going to garnish it with some parsley. Just a little bit of parsley. A little bit of parsley flake. go. Here we have classic Swedish meatballs. I guess it's technically not classic because we're using egg noodles. But the peanut gallery, they want the egg noodles, so guess what? They get the egg noodles. Okay? If you like this, try it out. Give me a comment. Let me know what you think. Hey, share it out if you can. Hey, if you're not already subscribed, subscribe to this channel. Hey, become part of the peanut gallery. Hey, our arms are open. We're accepting everybody. Okay? That being said, this is Shrashira. I'm out because clearly I got some eating to do.